Okay, it's December. Look how dark it is at 4:30 in the afternoon. The sun will be set in less than half an hour here. So I have prepped my bikes for winter. And so what do you do to do that? I have my NT700 DeVille up on the center stand, and I changed the oil, I guess about 400 miles ago. So it doesn't have virgin oil in it, but it has fresh oil in it, pretty fresh oil. And I don't know if I want to drain the gas tank or not. This is fuel injected, but I don't know. I used to completely fill my gas tanks all the way up till there was no room for air to prevent rust from starting on the walls of the cylinders. And I'm sorry that somebody is blowing leaves. But anyway, and on my Venture, which does not have a center stand, I'm going to put it up on my lift, on my jack there. Alright, now what I've done here is I've changed the oil about 200 miles ago, and I ran the bike yesterday, and I ran it on reserve to get the water out of the bottom of the tank, because that's where the water goes. It's always in the bottom in these little blobs that they act like mercury. Alright, then I took the bike for a little ride, and when I came home I shut the gas off and I let it run completely out of gas in the carburetors, the fuel pump, and the fuel filter. I just let it use all that gas, because you want to get all the gasoline out of carburetors. You don't want them sitting like a pot of chicken soup on the stove, and you leave it on and then all the liquid evaporates away from cooking, and then you have that mess inside the pot. Well, that's what happens inside carburetors. The gasoline, the whatever's in gasoline that makes it evaporates and leaves behind varnish and gum and stuff that plugs the pilot jet, the main jet. It's just no good. Then you end up having to take your carburetors apart and cleaning them out with acid. Same with my little toy dirt bike I just bought. I ran that until the carburetor used all the gas. But I'm going to be riding that here. This is just something to putt around on. I sold all my KDX 200s, RM 125 trials bikes years ago, and all of a sudden now my kids are interested in riding again. So I bought something to just go along. Something with electric start for a change. Never had that. My son just bought a KTM 450 with electric start. He said, "You won't go back to Kickstarter." So anyway, that's take the weight off of the bike by putting it on the center stand, or having a jack hold it up in the air. And I'm going to let some air out of the tires. And during the winter, I'm going to spin the rear wheel to rotate the shafts in the transmissions to coat them with oil. I don't know if it does any good or if it would do any harm if I didn't do that, but I've done that for decades. Give them a spin. And I let a lot of the air out of the tires, so that hopefully they can have less evaporation of whatever things that can evaporate out of the tires, just to close up the pores of the tire. I've always done that too. I won't put anything on the tires, no preservatives or anything like that, or tire black, or any chemicals. And I've cleaned the bikes. I only use that Honda spray cleaner and polish on them. And I'm going to put a cover. You don't want to put a plastic cover that doesn't breathe on your motorcycle, because when you get temperature changes, you're going to get condensation under there. Okay, now I'm going to spray my fork tubes. I can get to them on this. That has gaiters on it, but I'm going to spray that to have a film of oil on the fork tubes so they don't rust and get pits in them. And of course, there's my battery charger. I've charged all my batteries on a trickle charger, and I do that once a week for about 2 hours of battery at 1/2 amp. You trickle charge batteries at 1/2 amp or 1 amp. And that's a smart charger. A green light comes on when they're charged. I could actually hook that charger up and leave it connected indefinitely, supposedly, but I don't like to leave electrical devices plugged in my garage when I'm not home, or I just don't like to do that. So that's what I do for winter. I've heard that it's bad to start the bike every once in a while in the winter, just to, you know, give the valve springs a break and coat the cylinders with oil and stuff like that. Oh, one other thing I always do during the winter: pump the brakes. Pump the brakes and pull the clutch in to separate the clutch plates to get oil back in there, in between the plates, just to keep them freed up so they don't stick. Pump the brakes and pull the clutch lever in. Other than that, that's about all I do in the winter. I've just finished charging this battery. Charge all my batteries for about 2 hours, 3 hours on a Sunday. And these chargers are smart chargers, so they shut off when the battery's fully charged anyway. On my riding tractor and on my 3 motorcycles, that has electric start, so I have to do that too. And I used my little homemade pump here. This end sucks the gas, and this end discharges the gas into a gas can. And I suck it out through a filter. That's a 12-volt fuel pump I bought on eBay for under $10, free shipping. And when I was having trouble with this, I was sucking the gas out through the filter and right back in to try to get all that stuff that was in there out. I ended up taking the fuel tank off and taking out the whole cassette with the fuel pump on it, and I found that the filter and the pre-filter screen around the filter on the fuel pump was completely packed with this white debris that I'm pretty sure that was stabilizer. Because I did talk to the owner. I called him and said, "Did you ever put anything in this gas?" And he said, "No, I never put anything in there but stabilizer." Bingo. Because the bike sat for years after he put the stabilizer in. But anyway, I used that little pump there to pull all the gas out of my riding tractor gas tank and my walk behind push mower gas tanks, and then I ran them until they ran out of gas so that they will start next spring. I also did that to my little generator. But anyway, I'm all prepped for winter, and so is my Ram pickup. And it's going to start raining and snow tomorrow. I'll see you there.